You ever have one of those days where everything looks fine on the outside, but deep down, you know something's off? That's the kind of day it was for Malcolm Reeves. 52 years old. Retired Navy pilot. Quiet confidence in every step. He wore a tailored charcoal blazer. A crisp white dress shirt open at the collar. Polished Oxfords. And held a sleek leather portfolio under one arm. The kind of man who didn't need to speak to command presence. Everything about him said, professional, prepared, patient. It was a calm Thursday morning in Dayton, Ohio. The skies were clear. Traffic light. Malcolm pulled into the lot of Solace Trust Bank with purpose. He wasn't there looking for favors or pitching a dream. He had spent nearly 2 years building his freight coordination firm Onyx Precision Logistic from scratch. Contracts secured. Vehicles purchased. Staff trained. Now it was time to establish the business account that would anchor the company's financial operations. He stepped through the revolving doors. Inside, the smell of stale coffee mingled with ozone from copy machines. Background music played softly, interrupted by muffled phone conversations and the occasional beep from the teller stations. The lobby was modest beige walls. Forward counters. Leather chairs but functional. At the reception desk sat a young woman in her late 20s. Alicia. Her nameplate read. She didn't look up at first. Good morning, Malcolm said with a slight nod. I have a 10:15 appointment to open a business account. Malcolm Reeves. She tapped at her keyboard, chewing her lip. Okay. Looks like you're with Janice. Her office is at the end of that hallway. Last door on the right. Thank you, Malcolm said, his tone gracious. He approached the frosted glass door and knocked gently. Inside, Janice Harrow glanced up from her desk. Late 50s. Shoulder-length gray blonde hair. Large designer glasses. Wrapped in a teal jacket and cream blouse. She didn't smile. Have a seat, she said, pointing to a chair outside. I'll be with you shortly. It wasn't what she said. It was how she said it. As if letting him wait was a favor. As if he should be grateful she even acknowledged him. Malcolm sat down, his posture composed, hands resting on his lap. He waited. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Inside the office, Janice laughed with summoning a young man in khakis who seemed barely old enough to rent a car. They sipped coffee. 2 cups sat on her desk. None offered to him. He didn't fidget. Didn't sigh. Instead, he observed. Not just Janice. Everything. Years of military experience had sharpened his senses to notice the smallest detail. The way Alicia darted glances in his direction but avoided eye contact. The security guard shifting position behind the glass. And most of all, the clients. Several people walked in with no appointments. A woman in yoga pants with a stroller. A man in a hoodie holding a folder. Both were greeted warmly. Both called back in minutes. Janice personally opened the door for one of them. Malcolm checked his watch. 40 minutes. Still waiting. But he didn't stand up. Not yet. He was watching. Calculating. Testing limits. 50 minutes. Then the door opened again. And out came the young man in khakis. Thanks, Janice. You're a lifesaver. Say hi to your uncle for me, she replied, beaming. Malcolm's jaw tensed, then relaxed. A familiar rhythm. Control over impulse. Another woman entered. Sunette. Floral dress. Baby strapped to her chest. Janice, she exclaimed. Oh my God. Look who's here. Melody. Sweetie. And is that little Nora? They laughed. Hugged. Janice ushered her in like royalty. Malcolm checked his watch. 67 minutes. He stood briefly. Walked toward Alicia's desk. Then stopped. Wait. Something in him said. He sat back down. Sent an email to a supplier. Reviewed a delivery schedule. Replied to an update from his HR lead. No emotion. Just efficiency. 75 minutes. Then Janice finally emerged. Holding a folder. She blinked. Surprised to still see him sitting there. Oh, I thought you'd left, she said, smiling thinly. I had a 10:15. Malcolm said. Just waiting my turn. Right? She said slowly. It's been hectic. A few walk-ins. I was thinking maybe we could reschedule. No need, Malcolm said, standing with a calm grace. I've got all my documentation. He opened his portfolio. Inside, neatly labeled, articles of incorporation, federal EIN, vendor contracts, financial projections, organized, prepared. Well, Janice said, clearly flustered. It's just opening a business account is a lengthy process. We might not have time. Malcolm raised an eyebrow. Didn't seem like a problem for Trevor or Melody. She stiffened. They had simpler requests. I see. Amanda at the front desk stopped typing. The room shifted. I'll have to ask you to wait a little longer, Janice said. Malcolm's response was calm. Even. I waited 90 minutes without complaint. Watch 5 walk-ins get prioritized. Not a word from you. Not even water. Janice opened her mouth. Let me ask you. He continued. If I walked in with a hoodie and a check to cash, would I still be waiting? Before she could answer, the bank door opened. 3 people walked in. Sharp suits. Precise steps. Not employees. Not clients. Executives. At the lead, a tall black woman in a tailored navy pantsuit. Steel gray briefcase in hand. Regal. Composed. She scanned the room, locked eyes with Malcolm, and broke into a warm, genuine smile. Malcolm Reeves, she said. What are you doing here? Trying to open a business account. He said, smiling. Her smile faded. At 10:15, it's almost noon. He said. She turned to the others. This is Mr. Reeves, founding partner of Onyx Precision. They exceeded Q2 growth targets by 18%. We discussed his integration strategy last month. The 2 men went Asian. 1 Latino nodded and extended their hands. Exceptional execution. One said, clean structure. Janice stepped forward. Pale. I'm Janice Harrow. I wasn't aware. The woman cut her off. You had his name, his appointment, his file. He sat here for 90 minutes while you played favorites. It's been unusually busy. No busier than our Denver or Atlanta branches. They didn't ignore appointments. Janice looked down. The woman turned to Malcolm. I'm Carmen Lewis, SVP of Operations. Please come with us. We'll handle everything personally. Malcolm followed. Janice tried to step in. I can still help. Carmen didn't raise her voice. Janice. Sit. Right there. In that same lobby chair. Janice blinked. Frozen. Now. She obeyed. Slowly. Publicly. Carmen led Malcolm into a conference room. Alicia printed out the appointment logs. The door closed behind them. Jared, one of the execs, took Malcolm's documents. Carmen reviewed the contracts. You did everything right, she said. They opened the account, set up treasury services, authorized funding access. Then Carmen slid a black folder across the table. Gold seal. Preferred Growth Partner Program. You're on our radar now, she said. Custom credit. Early capital. Direct lines to senior advisors. Malcolm nodded. Didn't expect this. You didn't ask, she replied. That's what makes you different. 15 minutes later, they walked back into the lobby. Janice was still seated, cheeks flushed, eyes lowered. Carmen stopped. Remember the equity training you signed? This wasn't just rudeness. It was discriminatory. You'll be hearing from HR. I didn't mean. You didn't think. And worse, you didn't care. Amanda behind the desk said nothing. Malcolm said even less. Carmen looked at him. Ready? Let's go. As they passed the desk, Malcolm stopped. Alicia, he said softly. Next time someone like me walks in, treat them with the same urgency you'd give someone with a Rolex. She nodded, eyes wide. Yes, sir. Outside. Sunlight spilled across the pavement. Carmen turned to him. You know, she said, I've seen this before. Power used as a sword instead of a bridge. Power shows who you are. Malcolm replied, not who you say you are. She smiled. Exactly. He looked back at the bank. I didn't lose anything today. I already knew who I was. This just reminded them. Carmen extended a hand. You ever want a seat at a bigger table, call me. He shook it. Appreciate you. For everything. She drove off. Malcolm sat in his truck a moment. Engine off. He thought about all the years he played by the rules. Earned every stripe. Built every step. Yet still, some people would only ever see the surface. But not today. Today, they had to watch him walk out as the man they misjudged. As the man they now had to answer to. His phone buzzed. New message from his ops lead. New contract confirmed. Chicago Depot approved. Business as usual. And in the rear view? Just a building with a logo that no longer held weight. Here's the truth. People will judge you in the first 10 seconds. We can't always control that. But we can control our calm. We can keep building something so strong. They'll have to notice eventually. Malcolm didn't yell. Didn't demand. He was the proof. So if you've ever sat in that waiting room, ignored, underestimated and fold, stay ready. Let them watch you rise. Then let them explain how they missed it.